Hello and welcome. Hello, everybody. My name is Balaj, and I'm here with the DCG's team, and this is the DCG's development update. Here today, we are planning this session for 1 hour, and I'm here with the platform teams, the core teams, and the mobile teams today to give you an update of what happened in the past 2 weeks. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Please use a Q or a question prefix to your comments in the top chat below, in the comment section below. And therefore, you let us know that this is a question intended to direct it to us for the Q&A session and not just part of the regular conversation in the chat below. So without further ado, let's start. And let's start with the platform teams. Give me a second to share the screen as well. Here we go. Eva, would you kick us?
Yeah, sure. This sprint, we worked as usual on Rust SDK. Lucas, Sam, and me worked on this. Paul doing pretty great job on implementing strategies to platform terminal interface. I also did some stuff on this. And me and Lucas, we worked on the benchmarks, what we announced previous demo. So we have something to share with you today. And Igor and Audi worked on finalizing withdrawals. Lucas.
Thank you. Łukasz?
Yeah, hi. So I did some work regarding Rust SDK to go forward with that. So we had some communication issues with DAPI and that we fixed. And also there is an improvement to make the Rust SDK thread safe that simplifies usage of Rust SDK. That's a feedback from Ivan when he tried to use RS SDK in multi-threaded environment for his tests, to which he will get back later. And also I was quite busy with testing the modification features of Rust SDK, like put identities or create new identity, create new documents. So these two features work, are quite stable right now, but they are still waiting for a testing framework, including some mock wallet to sign these operations, because to save anything to the platform, we need to sign a state transition, and for that we need a mock wallet. And that mock wallet is in progress, and it's a kind of blocker for get identity and document modifications merged, because we need to add tests before we merge. And that's pretty much it in terms of RS SDK. And this work will be continued on low priority in the next sprint.
Thank you. Let's continue with withdrawals. Igor, would you?
Hey everyone. So this week, me and Odysseus spent our time on finalizing the withdrawals. And what we have so far, we have finished strategy tests for withdrawals lifecycle. Basically, in short, these tests are running the chain in an isolated environment without the network. Yeah, it's like an integration test. Yeah, for the drive. And we're running chain block by block to ensure that withdrawals are properly changing their statuses from queued to pulled to pending to completed, and that we are broadcasting corresponding transactions to core. So this test is done. It turned out to be quite big because, because we're going through 6 blocks to ensure the complete coverage of multiple withdrawals. Yeah. And what we have in progress is the signing process of the asset unlock transactions. We need a little change in Tender Dash to make that happen, because currently the signatures made by Tender Dash couldn't be recognized by Core. So this thing is in progress, and also withdrawal tests in platform test suite in progress as well. So yep, thanks. And with that being said, handing it over to Ivan, I think, right?
Yes.
No, I'll take
You
this.
want? Okay.
Sorry about my voice, guys. I'm a little bit under the weather. And thanks, Ivan, for doing the overview. So we've had a long-standing issue around chain lock and core synchronization between platform and core. It doesn't really appear on testnet because testnet is a pretty quick environment, but on mainnet we probably would see issues with race conditions between platform and core, and we want to basically make race conditions impossible. So one of the first things was that, well, our chain locks were never fully verified. We had always had that as a to-do item. It was not a big task, but we had just pushed it off because we wanted to get the system working first before we just did the verification. Chain locks are now completely verified. Another thing that could happen is we could receive a chain lock through platform that didn't yet exist in core. So how would this happen? Let's imagine a chain lock happens on the network. To propagate the chain lock throughout core, it generally takes, pause to keep me honest, but it's probably less than a second, right?
Yeah, I mean, our round trip time from block to chain lock average is about 2 seconds. The majority of that time is going to be spent on actually creating the chain lock and propagating the block. So the propagation of the chain lock is very quick.
It's very quick.
Under a second.
But you never know. There could be just some nodes that get it a little bit later. And in the meantime, Tender Dash created a block and broadcasted it with the chain lock. And then you get the chain lock through platform before you get it through core. And basically, this would have caused platform to incorrectly reject the block, not platform to incorrectly reject the block, but your current node to incorrectly reject the block. So now platform actually verifies the chain locks directly in platform by having a cache of the quorums that quorum keys basically that are needed to verify these chain locks, and that actually speeds up the whole system as well. So it's a nice improvement regardless. And yeah, it also if the chain lock is verified locally but doesn't exist in core, the plan is to broadcast it to core. That's actually not done yet, but because we're waiting for the RPC from the core team. But basically, yeah, it just arrives quicker in one way. So in order to speed up the system, just like tell the core, hey, look, we got this first, verify it and accept it. And it just comes into core through platform instead of through P2P. But there's no, I mean, the signature is still verified. So yeah, that was a lot of what I worked on this sprint. I worked on some other things, and I think the next slide should be the rest of the stuff I worked on. Yeah, we ran into an issue where the identity transfer is causing a mismatch of balances in platform. I had thought right before that I had fixed it. It turns out that no, I have not. I thought that the reason is that when you removed balance from an identity to transfer it to somebody else, right afterwards you'd be paying the fee, but the fee would be deducted from your original balance, not from the, like, if let's say you have 1,000 dash, you're rich, and you send 1 dash and your fee is 0.1 dash. Basically, you'd be removing 1 dash from 1,000, and then you'd be removing 0.1 from 1,000, and basically the 1 dash would not actually go through. This was actually an amazing thing, because it showed us that the safeguards put in place for proving that there can't be an inflationary bug in platform worked 100%. The chain basically said, no, this is not okay. Dash just got created out of nowhere, and we're terminating everything. So, like, yeah, the chain would not continue under these circumstances. The sum trees, I think some people might remember that, but the sum trees verifying that the amount of money in platform matches the amount of money ever sent to platform, that completely worked. And it just basically said, no, this is not good. Now, yeah, right before about an hour ago, I realized that actually the code that I originally wrote should work perfectly. It obviously isn't around identity transfer. So we are, I'm going to have to look at that some more and try to find out how this is occurring. So yeah, my biggest guess is there is a system of processing feed data around identities, and it is possible that potentially an identity got into processing feed data. This is a pretty advanced feature, and that's the reason why this is happening. And what we did was we created a hotfix to temporarily disable credit transfer transitions, just so testnet could work until we resolve the issue. In the meantime, we also had decided to fix another longstanding issue that we I think, Ivan, how long have you known about this? Actually, did you find out about it this sprint, or did you know about it longer? Do we know about it longer?
Actually, it's they had an issue since Friday.
Oh, for the replay attacks?
Oh, you're talking about replay attack?
Yeah, the replay attack.
I was distracted a little bit. Replay attack. The Mikhail reported it from Incubator. He reported yesterday that he see the state transition like with the same hash, identical one, and it was credit transfer. So that's
I thought we had known about it for some time, but I guess not. Okay, so thanks, Mikhail. Yeah, there was something, I guess, quite stupid, and I actually verified all other state transitions in this one while doing this one. When you sent money from A to B, you could just do that again and again and again, and basically drain identity A's account. So yeah, that's very good that that was found. I mean, I'm 100% sure that we would have found it eventually in testing. It was so obvious. Sometimes like blatantly obvious things get missed. But yeah, so now that's not possible anymore. And if person A sends person B 1 dash on platform, he only sends 1 dash. It's
the problem basically more like that, not you doing it again, but someone doing it for you again. So
yeah, I send 1 dash to Ivan, and then all of a sudden Ivan does it again. Yeah, Ivan is like, it wasn't me. What are we talking about? I have no idea. Yeah, but that was pretty bad. That was actually one of the most facepalm issues that I've seen. Normally we see like pretty advanced, things to correct, and this was just a stupid oversight. Okay, so the last one, oh, that's actually not mine.
The last one, we saw it again also on this weekend when we tried to catch up the nodes, reset them. They failed to replay the blocks, to sync the blocks, and the failure was in tender dash in the store. So basically, the structure what it uses, it was not thread safe, and some race condition happened there, and Lucas fixed it pretty quickly. So now the replay should work properly.
Yeah.
Hey, I just missed the. Did you cover the second item about the temporary hotfix just to make testnet work?
Yeah,
Still
I said that.
the problem.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, so guys, create transfer transitions are disabled temporary.
Yeah, we'll
So-
try to re-enable them this week. We're just trying to identify the mismatch. And by the way, if you are somebody who has been making identity credit transfer transitions, could you let us know? And like, if you were you trying to do something bad, or were you just trying to use the network normally? Like, if you were trying to find like an attack, that would really help us, because
or just delay Shumkov from his spring goal.
yeah. But I mean, in all, I'm very happy because we saw that there basically can't be inflationary bugs. So that, I mean, the sum trees work perfectly in that regard.
Yeah. Okay, I will take this one. So we did some testing, performance testing against the local network for beginning. It was the first step, just to make all tooling working and do some, I would say, simple optimizations that give us the most benefits. And first of all, the first point was Envoy proxy. What we're using in front of DAPI is basically entry point for your even master node. And we tuned some timeouts and to provide better performance. So it was nice to play with it. We also implemented the function to broadcast many random documents and do it like asynchronously. We didn't have it before. We also noticed that DAPI are the one node, if you broadcasting more than several hundreds, creating more than several hundred connection to the one node, doesn't handle it properly because DAPI is written in Node.js, in JavaScript, running on Node.js, and Node.js is single-threaded. So, and it mostly does some I/O operation because it takes data and send data to other services or read data from other services. So these I/O operations are blocking. So yeah, we ran now in our Docker containers, we ran DAPI for DAPI 2 processes instead of one. And it was easy to do. So also there was a problem in the tender dash. We realized that we missing some transaction results from tender dash. So when you broadcast the transaction, the client asking back for result, like its transaction was rejected or it was committed with, or if rejected with what status code, or it's committed to return the proofs. And this done by connection between DAPI And TenderDash, it's like stream connection with the socket, and the implementation on TenderDash was the channel for socket was limited only to 100 elements. That created some bottleneck, and we just increased Lucas just increased the capacity of this channel, and problem disappeared. So against the local network, we were able to broadcast like to have 1,000 connections on one machine. And to understand, it's basically the local network is 3 nodes in Docker. What is running? I ran it on my Mac, so it was running inside virtual machine, and the script what is generating data running on the same machine. So it's not actually the real benchmark. It's just testing the testing of the tooling, I would say. But even is this not the best conditions? The client were able to broadcast 1,000 documents within and get proofs and verify these proofs within 20 seconds. And to compare, on the drive side, we see that the biggest block I saw, it's about 300 transactions inside state transitions, and it was processed by drive just for 300 milliseconds. So this 20 seconds to broadcast 1,000 documents, it's client-side logic mostly. So this time takes the proof verification and all this networking. So the node performance will be much, much higher. And actually, that's what we want to figure out now. What is our node performance? We're setting right now the Prometheus and Grafana on some node to have the good visibility and nice charts to see what's going on, and like the transaction rate and other interesting metrics. And so to broadcast on the local network, we use the Platform Explorer, but it's like graphic interactive. It's interactive interface. It's not suitable to run on multiple nodes and have good control of it. So we implementing some CLI that we need to set up on several nodes, and these nodes will broadcast these documents with high throughput to the testnet. That's what we're working on today. I already got some results, but I think we will show you some interesting numbers next demo. Thank you.
Yeah, that's very exciting, Ivan.
Yeah, I mean, at least we see our system is working.
I mean, it's working, and it's definitely working well. As you said, right? Like when you check Drive, it was able to do what, 300 transactions in 300 milliseconds.
Yeah, but this one is just block processing, because if we're talking about like end-to-end process, is some networking is involved, right? The TenderDash, DAPI, and so that's number without all this round trip, basically.
Yeah, but it is very encouraging, right? Because if it's able to process 300 transactions in 300 milliseconds, it means that, if we can get the networking fixed and upgraded, like we'll be able to handle a very high amount of transactions per second. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, probably nothing should be fixed. We don't know yet, right? We don't.
We
see
don't
the-
know.
we don't,
We're still,
we don't know. Maybe the result will be the same, amazing, right? And so it will be interesting spring. I mean, the next one.
yeah, but something will be wrong. We all know it, right? Like something, we don't know where, but something will be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a pessimist a little bit, but
Yeah, but good thing that's the most obvious things we fixed already running against local networks, so should be good.
yeah.
Yeah, and meanwhile while we worked on this testing and benchmarks, we improved. I would say it wasn't many logs in DAPI. We covered a few components so we can see how things are working right now there, which is very important for current type of tasks what we have, like the testing and troubleshooting, and to enable tests and like for testnet, the benchmarks for testnet, we added a feature to Dashmate, so now you can configure the bind IP, so listening interface as well for private services, because previously it was hard-coded to local host. Now for specific services you can use private networks, but do it very carefully, because yeah, you should completely understand what you are doing. If you allow some like RPC endpoints or something else outside of local network or local host. So yeah, thanks.
All right, shall we move forward with the core team? Ori, would you kick us off?
Yep. Hello, guys. So, previous week we released v20.0.2, including fix applicable only to master nodes. So we in the v20 release we introduced a cleanup mechanism for old quorum data, so essentially private keys and verification vector. So the problem is that we inserted this mechanism, and it was done first of all in the block validation thread, and second, it was initiated in parallel with a DKG running. So this was causing master nodes to miss critical phases of DKGs, so to get proof of service score and eventually getting banned. So we fixed that by moving to another thread and make sure that we start this cleanup during a phase where no DKG can happen. There is also v20.0.3 that is going to be released probably after the fork, which is due this Thursday. Basta is going to talk about it later. So v20.0.3 will fix reported memory consumption issue reported from masternode operators and owners. So basically, we're gonna reduce the memory needed for caching quorums to the strictly essential. And there's a long wallet unlock time and potential crashes that was also fixed, that it will be included also in this release. Pasta is going to talk now about v20.1.x development and about the upcoming fork.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, talking a little bit more about the 2003. The memory needs for quorum caches Odie talked about that while we're reducing it. We don't think that's a memory leak. We haven't seen any issues of it actually growing in perpetuity, but the memory demands are definitely higher than in V19. And so we spent some time and investigated it and found some ways to be able to reduce that. So 2003, we should see reduced memory needs on masternodes, which is always good to be efficient in that way. So we're also currently working on v20.1 development. This moves us towards a goal that I've had for a long time, and that we delivered pretty well with v19, of having multiple minor releases between major releases. In v19, we had 19.1, 2, and 3. Really only 2 of those were kind of the minor releases I want to be having, where we deliver new features and stuff like that. So v20.1 is our first planned minor release in that regard. We have quite a few things that we're trying to bring into it. None of them are kind of breaking changes, but all of them are good changes to get done. A lot of them are done from backports, but get done, get merged and developed, and then get them out into the wild and have them actually start being ran. So that's always the goal with minor releases, just have as continual of a development process as we can. And in that same vein, we've also very recently started delivering nightly builds. And so probably could have added some images or something here on the way you can find these. But if you're running from Docker, you can just look at the latest nightly tag, and this is building every single night from develop, and it is pushing to Docker Hub. These are the latest builds like I said, every single night. You can also find them on the -dev branches GitHub repository, so -pay and then -dev branches. We don't really want to clutter the main repository with a release every single night. But if you do want to run these nightly builds, you can take a look at -dev branches. It's not necessarily recommended. They are running with enabled debug, and so they will be a lot slower. Also higher memory requirements, everything like that. But they do give us really useful feedback to know that we're not introducing any kind of memory issues or any kind of thread safety issues. Our nightly builds will kind of catch a lot of those kind of issues. And so our goal is to get this deployed onto testnet in a rotating fashion over basically probably a 2-week period. And so we're going to be dealing with infrastructure over the next couple of weeks to a month to kind of figure that out and start running these nightly builds on testnet as often as we can. And in parallel with all of this, we're also continuing work on v21 development. So including larger or potentially breaking changes that would not be appropriate for a minor release. All right, now that we're done with current development, Balash, we can move to the next slide. And I'm going to talk about v20 and the hard fork activation. So we've got over 92, actually it might be slightly under 92. I think if you add these up, we're looking at 91.9% of masternodes updated to v20.x. You can take a look at the chart in the upper right-hand corner there to kind of see how that looks. The v20 hard fork will activate now at this block height shown here. That's going to be about 6 p.m. UTC on the 14th. So we've got about 2 days. It might be almost exactly 2 days. I don't know what time it is UTC right now. Maybe someone else can chime in. But it feels like it might be almost exactly 2 days right now. So the December super block will use the updated thresholds for governance. So it will be bumped up to 20%. And also chain locks the best chain lock will now be stored in the Coinbase, and that will be used for quorum calculation. All right, let's move on to the next slide here. And real quick, we're just gonna take a look at the pull requests that got merged in the last 2 weeks. You can take a look at a lot of these. You can, dive into them more if you want to. The vast majority of them are backports, moving towards different goals, but a lot of them are backports. A couple of them are related to figuring out how we were going to do nightly builds. A couple of them are some fixes for some earlier changes. Yeah, some of these were included in 2002, and some of them will be included in 2003. I think one of those is Probably the fix assertion in, so 5736 looks like it'll probably be included in 2003. But yeah, 2003, probably could have talked about this 2 slides ago, but 2003 will be released in the pretty near future. Should be between a couple of days to probably no more than a week. There might be a couple more things that Eugene is still wrapping up the kind of memory changes, and that's still in review. So we don't have a super firm timeline on it yet, but we do want to get that out kind of as soon as we can and as soon as we're happy with it. And then 21 or 20.1 will have a more ambiguous time frame. It'll definitely be released sometime after the hard fork. It won't be released before the hard fork. And between, sometime around the end of the year to maybe the first couple of weeks of January is kind of my goal for v20.1 and just providing incremental releases. But that could, of course, change if we find any issues or anything like that. All right, I think we're good to move on to mobile.
Mobile. Brian,
Yeah,
would you
sounds
kick
good.
us off?
Sure can. All right. So on Android, we continue to work with the iOS team on the Rust libraries. We're mostly on the testing side as they iterate through those macro features. The couple small bugs and rollover items from our last sprint were finished up relating to Core 20 and CrowdNode and Coinbase. And work still continues on CoinJoin. Couple things that still were a little bit undone that we're wrapping up in this sprint. And we released 9.1.1, which has some of those items up there marked as done. Move on to iOS. So iOS was a great sprint, a lot of productivity here. You see a lot more work on the Rust libraries broken up quite a bit. Some stuff that had kind of rolled over from a couple sprints ago, as well as some new ones. So we'll have a nice round of testing on that work in this sprint that we're in now. Small bug relating to the QR code was fixed. The same kind of changes that we did for Coinbase and CrowdNode were wrapped up as well. And the V20 support that was in testing previously was wrapped up too. And really, really good progress on our username voting. This is, again, all the UI work. We have just a couple more stories to go, and then we'll have most of our UI work done. And then we'll start getting into some of the CoinJoin work on iOS. Just a quick note and update, I guess, on iOS syncing. We are aware that there are some syncing challenges on iOS for a couple of different reasons, but primarily because the network has been upgrading quite heavily to 20, and that version is not yet out. We're just waiting on Apple for our final review. We had a minor version that we were waiting on, and we kind of dropped that review because it was taking too long. So we submitted our new major version with V20 support. So hopefully that'll get through the review a little bit quicker. To do that, we did need to temporarily hide our Coinbase and Uphold features, but hopefully those should come back soon. So that is mobile.
All right, thank you very much. Shall we move on to questions? I see one question here. Please, if you have further questions, let us know. Please write it in the chat with a Q prefix. When will, Ryan asks, thanks Ryan for the question. When will we increment Dash platform to v1.0.0 RC? As far as I know, we did a platform feature several weeks or months ago. Why are we still releasing versions with v0.x.y?
Okay, I can answer this, I guess.
Please.
version 25 was supposed to be the same as version 1. There wasn't supposed to be really a difference. When we what we created a v1 in GitHub, and we started writing to it, and we just have to switch at some point, but just for consistency. Ivan, do you want to say anything more to this?
Yeah, so you said absolutely right. And we have one dev right now on GitHub, and the idea is that we merge breaking changes to this branch, because we don't want to wipe testnet pretty often. So probably the next fixes will go to version 1 and these breaking changes, and I guess in near future we'll switch to 1.dev very soon from 25.
Yeah, I think the next time we wipe testnet, probably.
I guess with this create transfer thing, because it's gonna be a breaking change.
And let's get the chain lock fixes in there as well.
Yeah, and so basically pretty soon we switch to 1.dev.
All right, thank you very much. Next question is when evil. Do you want to comment on that?
Yes.
Yeah, like what are the
As soon as like we are well, we've as people can probably see by our reviews, we had a phase where we were solving bugs in platform, and I mean we still are to some extent, but now we're moving on to solving issues that are more okay, like if we're broadcasting 1,000 transactions, also the issues that we're solving are, you know, more spaced out. We are finding issues like the identity credit transfer one, but they're not as how to put it, central to the system as some of the previous things that we were dealing with before. So after we put in the chain lock fix, and as well with the new fixes for that we found on identity transfer, there is no open item for platform in terms of fixes. Is there even? I don't believe so. No, there is.
There are some stuff in our backlog to fix, but they are more like minor.
Yeah, there are a few minor things, and there are a few things that could go wrong during testing, even more, right? When we start testing the fees, we might uncover more things that are problematic. But you know, it's a process, and obviously, like, our estimates have been abysmal in the past. I'll reiterate, you know, we are getting there. We have a lot of the system working at this point. We are getting, like, we are verifying that the system can handle a pretty decent load without issues. And yeah, it's actually pretty exciting to finally see things, you know, kind of working. I mean, they have been gradually getting better and better, but I do think that we're gonna, like, next year we're gonna see, you know, well, we're gonna release and we're gonna see like all of this go live, and it's gonna be an amazing time. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. Though not with a Q prefix, but maybe I just highlight that question. Not going to talk about the fork in 2 days, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was early. It was a question that was at the beginning
Yeah,
before we talked about the fork.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, the gist is that it's in 2 days, and the block height is also on GitHub on the release schedule issue if you want to take a look there. We're definitely very excited for that. Chain locks will now be included in the Coinbase, and additionally, so that will provide entropy for quorums. That's really the main feature. And of course, the governance thresholds will also be increased to 20%. Yeah.
Yeah, and for people who don't understand what that means, previously, there were types of like rare minor attacks that could happen. Now, no longer. So now our core, I mean, the security of our system has just skyrocketed in V20 in terms of, now like even somebody with 100% of the hash power wouldn't be able to, well, I don't want to give anybody any ideas or like, I'm not, or ask people to try it out, right? But no, the security of our system is now very, very much higher. I mean, when I say security, I mean in the sense of able to create a quorum that wasn't supposed to be created that way. Like, let's imagine if you had 200 masternodes and 100% of the hash power. Not a very common situation, but in those situations before V20, there were attacks, and after V20, not so much.
Thank you very much. One last question. What is chain lock fix?
Chain lock fix. I'm guessing they're talking about what I wrote. Wasn't really a fix to chain locks. It's more that platform was taking in the chain lock and asking, well, there were multiple iterations. At the beginning, it was taking in the chain lock and just trusting it. Our goal was to verify the chain lock before, accepting it. That was done. But then the way we verified the chain lock was by asking core. And there is a race condition there. I think I explained all of this. And now it's a much more, it's a much more, how to put it? There's much more work that happens on platform side to verify chain locks, but it's a lot more efficient, and yeah, so and it's working. Well, it's not working yet, but it will work soon. As soon as Odysseus reviews my PR and merges it in.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. I guess that's it for today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the feedback and the questions. And see you in 2 weeks. We will have a Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do one on the 24th.
Yeah.
We might move it to maybe later in the week or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
we will see. We will
or
see.
maybe
Let's
maybe the week
discuss, and
later.
we will announce it in Discord. All right. Thank you very much. Have
Bye,
a great
everybody.
day. Bye, everybody. See you.